Since the beginning of time, life has been taking and death has been giving, back and forth, one feeding off of the other, for life needs sustenance. So today, let's remember those who came before us and learn from our past, for tomorrow it might be us that need be remembered. In this episode, we are talking about August 16th and some of the deaths that have occurred. 1153, decapitation. Bernard de Tremblay became the fourth Grand Master of the Knights of the Templar. King Baldwin III of Jerusalem gave Bernard the ruined city of Gaza for him and the Templars to rebuild. Then on August 16th, 1153, the Templars battled Egyptian fortresses in the Battle of Ascalon, in which Bernard was beheaded and 40 other Templars were killed. Their corpses were displayed and their heads were sent to the Sultan. May they rest in peace. Is displaying the corpses of the dead disrespectful? Comment below. Maybe it's all just perspective. 1886, throat cancer. Ramakrishna was born February 18th, 1836. He went to the village school for 12 years, then dropped out saying he was not interested in bread-winning education. Instead, Ramakrishna pursued education of spiritual things. He studied many religions and thought all religions to be true. Newspapers said Ramakrishna was spreading love and devotion among the educated, and he succeeded in reforming some youths. Sadly, Ramakrishna died August 16th, 1886, after battling with throat cancer. May he rest in peace. What do you think? Is there such thing as a spirit, or is there an afterlife? 1888, stomach cancer. John Pemberton was born July 8th, 1831. He was a biochemist and a Confederate States Army veteran. He suffered a saber wound in the Battle of Columbus in 1885 and wound up with a morphine addiction. This led to John experimenting with various drugs. In 1866, he was trying to find a cure for his morphine addiction, and then somehow created coke. No, not the nose candy rich people shovel down their nose, though it was an ingredient in the soda he made, Coca-Cola. He made many health claims, calling it a valuable brain tonic, then marketing it as invigorating and delicious, pure joy. Unfortunately, life took a turn, and in 1888, Dr. Pemberton fell ill and near bankruptcy. He was forced to sell his formula, and he died August 16, 1888, from stomach cancer. May he rest in peace. Is it time to put the Coke back in Coke? 1938. Poisoned. Robert Johnson was born May 8, 1911. He was a blues guitarist, singer, and songwriter who is recognized as a master of the Delta blues. He was a traveling performer who mostly played on street corners, juke joints, and Saturday night dances. There is a legend that he sold his soul to the devil at a local crossroads to achieve musical success. Johnson died August 16th, 1938 at the young age of 27 after being poisoned by a jealous husband that was angry because Johnson hit on his wife. Johnson was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986. May he rest in peace. Tumor, 1948. Babe Ruth was born February 6th, 1895. He was a professional baseball player. His career in Major League Baseball spanned 22 seasons from 1914 to 1953. Ruth's many batting and pitching records include 714 career home runs and 2,213 runs batted. Ruth is regarded as one of the greatest baseball players of all time. Sadly, in 1946, severe pain over his left eye and difficulty swallowing revealed an inoperable malignant tumor at the base of his skull. Thousands gathered for his last days when on August 16th, 1948, the legend that was Babe Ruth died in his sleep. His open casket was put on display in Yankee Stadium for 2 days, where many thousands went to pay their respects. Babe Ruth rests with his wife, Claire. May they rest in peace. 1956, heart attack. Bela Lugosi was born October 20th, 1882 in Hungary. He was an actor that started off in small parts in plays. In 1927, he appeared as Count Dracula on the Broadway adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula. He played Dracula again in 1931, Universal Pictures film Dracula. This was Lugosi's most well-known role. He also performed in The Black Cat in 1934. He was also in The Son of Frankenstein in 1939. Bela Lugosi died August 16th, 1956 of a heart attack. He was buried wearing one of the Dracula cape costumes in Clover City, California. May he rest in peace. Who do you think played the best Dracula? 1977, cardiac arrest. Elvis Presley was born January 8th, 1935 in Tulupo, Mississippi. On January 27th, 1956, he released Heartbreak Hotel, where it became #1. Then, in March 1956, Elvis was drafted into the military service and served for 2 years. He was discharged on January 20th, 1960, and he devoted most of his time to making Hollywood films and soundtracks. Elvis was in 27 movies in the 60s. Critic Andrew Kane dismissed them as a pantheon of bad taste. Most of his films were profitable, though Hal Wallace, the producer of 9 Elvis movies, said, "A Presley picture is the only sure thing in Hollywood." In 1968, he was deeply unhappy with his career, having to perform material so bad that he felt like he couldn't even sing it. Elvis left behind Hollywood's shithole charade to go back to playing live music. His television comeback special in 1968 led to an extended Las Vegas stay, partying and doing drugs. Tony Sherman wrote in 1977 that Presley had become a grotesque caricature of his sleek, energetic former self, hugely overweight, his mind dulled by pharmacopoeia. He was barely able to pull himself through his abbreviated concerts. He was on stage for less than an hour, and he was impossible to understand. On August 16th, 1977, all the drugs caught up with Elvis, and he died of cardiac arrest. The pathologist conducting the autopsy declared that drug use was heavily implicated in Elvis Presley's death. May he rest in peace. What do you think? Can taking drugs negatively affect your health, even if they are prescribed to you by a doctor? Homesickness, 1991. Shamu was a female orca, commonly known as a killer whale. She was first known intentional live capture of a healthy orca. She was very young, around 14 feet and 2,000 pounds. They sold her to SeaWorld in December 1965, where she performed shows for audiences. Shamu retired on April 19, 1971, after she bit the legs and hips of Annie X, a SeaWorld employee who was trying to ride her as part of a filmed publicity event. Sadly, Shamu died August 16, 1971. May she rest in peace. What do you think caused Shamu to die? Coma. 2003. Idi Amin was a military officer who served as the president of Uganda from 1971 to 1979. He was known as the Butcher of Uganda and considered one of the cruelest people in the world history. In 1962, the war was over and Amin remained in the armed forces, rising to the position of major and commander of the Uganda army. He became aware that Ugandan President Milton Obote was planning to arrest him for misappropriating funds. So Amin launched a military corps in 1971 and declared himself president in 1977. Amin's rule was full of human rights abuses. Between 100 and 500,000 people were killed under his reign. In 1978, after he launched an invasion of Tanzanian territory, Tanzanian President Julius Nyerere had his troops invade Uganda. Amin went into exile where he lived until July 19, 2003, when he was in a coma, and Amin's family eventually decided to pull the plug. Amin died August 16, 2003. What do you think? Did his family make the right decision letting Amin die? Or should he have paid for his crimes? Cancer. 2018. Aretha Franklin was born March 25th, 1942. She was a singer, songwriter, actress, pianist, and civil rights activist. When she was just 10 years old, she started singing gospel where her father was pastor. By the time she was 12, her father started managing her. She got her first recording deal with JVB Records at the age of 16. Franklin even went on tour with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and she sang at his funeral. After Aretha turned 18, she told her dad she wanted to follow Sam Cooke in recording pop music. They moved to New York and started recording some of her hit songs such as Think, A Natural Woman, and Respect. Aretha was the first woman to have 100 songs on the Billboard charts. She had a #1 hit on Billboard charts every decade since the 1960s. That's an incredible 70 years of #1 hits. Her final performance was at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine on November 7th, 2017. She had to cancel her 2018 concert dates due to her doctor's advice. Then on August 16th, 2018, Aretha Franklin tragically died of pancreatic cancer. May she rest in peace. What's your favorite hit song she made? Well, wasn't that interesting? Sorry for any mispronunciations, and thank you for joining us to remember those who have died this day in death. If you enjoyed yourself, check out some of our other videos and go below to find links to our social media where we post videos daily. If you watch this video from the beginning to the end, you're awesome. Thank you. We put a lot of hard work into what we do, and we appreciate the support. And remember, with cancers, tumors, and poison, we are all equal in death. Thank you for joining us, and have a great day.